Okay, we have a very, 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 very special edition of Wandering Talks. As you can tell, I am not in my backyard right now. And you might be wondering, just where am I? I'm on Mount Fuji. No big deal, right? No big deal. You can see the summit in the back. Yeah, just came from there. No big deal, right? No big deal. No, honestly, I am good time. Super tired. And I believe that this fatigue is truly well earned because, oh my god, that was the hike of a lifetime. I mean, the amount of physical strain that my body experienced going up 1,400 meters into the sky. And, you know, not just directly, but zigzag, cross angle, all different ways. So, yeah, you're catching me on the last couple legs of the descent. And I think that this is a great place to kind of like share my thoughts and my feelings about everything. So I'd say something that I've been focusing on this summer is this concept of ascension. It has multiple meanings to it. You know, when somebody says that they want to ascend, it can mean like, you know, physically, like I want to go higher, like I did with the mountain. And other times that ascension can be, you know, ascending in a spiritual way, you know, maybe tapping into some higher power somewhere along the way. And ascending has always been something that, I don't know, I kind of think that maybe us humans have desired to ascend for a long time. As long as we've ever, you know, looked up into the sky and seen the stars, we probably wondered, how can we get up there? And that leads to the concept of ascension. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about, you know, prehistory humans. Why exactly would they want to scale mountains? Like, why would they spend their time exploring these treacherous routes? And there could be a bunch of different reasons. Sometimes just curiosity. Sometimes it could be, you know, the resources that one could obtain on said mountain. But I think there's also a third and more abstract approach, which could be, you know, spiritual ascension. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Spiritual ascension. Yeah. So, what does that mean? Well, again, let's say us humans are mystified by the stars, by the sky. We create these ideas that these things called gods, super powerful beings who have the ability to control the elements that we can't control. And where would they necessarily be? Well, probably up really high, you know? So yeah, we're talking. I'm doing my recording. You're good. So, think about it. Where would, let's say, a god who rules over the earth sit? Would they sit inside the earth? Would they be able to observe the earth from within the earth? Questionable. Not really. But a mountain. Now, a mountain, that's going to give somebody a really good POV, you know? And when I think about that, I think about mountains. I think about if humans believed that the closer they were physically to God, the more likely they were able to curry favor. And that could explain potentially why the mountain would be such a popular place to explore, to navigate, but also with that divine connection, you would also experience something along the lines of ritual and rite. Like, wouldn't it seem like if you wanted to speak to the gods that you would do something up on the mountain as opposed to doing something in your home? You know, the god might be in your house, but you're asking them to do a favor for you on your terms. It's better for you to kind of like go to their place and ask them. So, I don't know. I think like when I think about the concept of ascending, it is a place where it is reaching a destination where a ritual or rite can occur. And we know that ritual and rites are things that are done in order to kind of like feel a sense of control over maybe an uncontrollable thing. We do rituals for the weather because we want good weather. We do rituals for success because we want success. We do rituals for love, for death, for war, for birth, for all sorts of things. So, ascension, going to a place where it's a difficult place to reach, but it's a place that has a lot of sacred power within it. So, I'm thinking like, man, I just came from the summit. It really was like a transformative experience, but not necessarily just the peak itself, you know? Like, what made the summit so powerful, speaking of, there it is, if you needed proof, right there. What I think also really leans into the concept of ascending and the eventual ritual that would be held up at the sacred location is the trek to it, you know? Like, it took us 12 hours to get to the top of that mountain. Granted, we could have shaved off maybe a little bit of time, but regardless, like, it took us 12. And it took a lot of other people who were not directly walking with us, but in our physical company around the same time. And what I kept thinking about as all these people just walked up and down the mountain was this feeling of pilgrimage. Like a pilgrimage. All of us taking steps to get to this location. All of us, different walks of life, different ages, different cultural backgrounds, came together in the heat of summer to test ourselves against one of the biggest mountains in the world, and we all walked it, you know? We all made waves. We all kind of like had a reason for being there. And there were points along the path where we were just like one after another, like we were in line or something. Catch these views, yeah. So yeah, we were like in this line in a sense, and it didn't matter what we were doing or who we were before this. All we knew is that we were pilgrims on this path, headed to this destination, and we helped each other out, we laughed, we shared small comments and things like that, even if we couldn't even fully understand each other. I don't know, like, it shows like the power of a mountain, really, and how it can bring people together from all across the world for one specific purpose: to climb it, to ascend. And I know that I'm not the only person who's feeling like a sense of invigoration and like joy and growth after doing something like that. So when I thought about all of us like taking this pilgrimage to this place, all of us bringing something from our own lives into the world, asking for favors or giving something away or changing things, it's a lot, you know? It's a lot of power there. And I think what made it even more powerful is that we didn't do it alone, you know? Like, there were people along the route with us. And that's another thing. Like, you can't have ritual by one person. Like, one person may be able to conduct a ritual, but there's got to be a recipient of the ritual as well. And now I'm just rambling about rituals and ascensions and things like that, but I just wanted to come on here and share a little bit about where my brain is at after the most delirious and crazy outdoor expedition I've ever done in my life. The lore is so strong now. But what does it all really mean? What does it all mean for people to cross continents, to cross oceans, for a chance to reach the peak of something that they've seen on television, something that they've read about, something that they've heard about, and now they have the chance to take it themselves? I don't know. I know for me personally, I've always been fascinated with Mount Fuji in Japan. Yeah, it started because I was an anime geek, still am, but I didn't leave it at that. You know, I actually did do some research and studying, and there's certain things about like Japanese culture that's really interesting. One of my most favorites is the 4-act structure for storytelling. I could not tell you what it is called right now because my brain is fried, but like that's something that exists here and that does not exist in the West. Like it's just a 3-act structure in the West, and I'm like, wouldn't it be really cool to like learn the origins of the 4-act structure? So I don't know, but to know that I have been able to step foot on a mountain that some of the greatest, you know, thinkers, philosophers, dreamers, warriors, parents have stepped on is just powerful. And my footprints get to be part of it. What? Huh? Oh, the greatest sisters too. She's delirious, but it's okay. We'll let it slide. Nah, but she's the one who helped us get here. And you know what else that goes to say is that when you have a very particular purpose in mind, you will be amazed at what you're capable of, holding out. You'll be amazed at how you can go beyond what you thought you could go through, all for the sake of, reaching something better. And that's powerful because that is how you like really transcend. Ascend is recognizing, oh, this is my limit, but now I can kind of do a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more because who knows what's on the other side if I just push a bit, and it'll test you. But also, that's kind of what we need. Like, we need a frictioned reality. I was reading something about, I think it might have been Prince talking about music, because Prince is always talking about music, but how, and I might have talked about this on here earlier, but like how when you play live instruments, you actually create frequencies and sound waves and friction. The tension between the pluck and the strum and the wave is physical, it's real, it exists in this time period. In the digital world, that's not necessarily the case. Like, yeah, you can make music, but you can't make the vibration physical. So, that's perfect. So when you think about that, you think about like us living in a reality where friction is essential. We need lives and aspects of our lives to challenge us. We need to be tested, because if we don't, then we're just kind of like these blobs that really don't have any real underlying purpose. And that's boring, and that's really scary also as well too. So I think it's just really cool to be back down the mountain, and especially like, going back to that sense of purpose is like, once you've started your journey, once you started reaching the mountain, once you're past the halfway point, you have no choice but to keep going. Like, you have no choice but to come down. And no matter like how long it takes or how many turns you got to do or how many slips and falls you might end up happening, like, you still got to come down. And when you do, you'll be the better for it. So here's to ascension, here's to moving forward, and here's to conquering Mount Fuji.